Hello everyone and welcome back to Evie Turquesa. This is Evie and I am ready to share another tag. So this little flower here and this little bee are my inspiration, and I am using this tag from the tag pad by Julie Nutton, and the name of the pad is Hancock Park. So that's the one I chose to work on, and inspired by those two things, I will be creating my tag today. So first, I'm going to be working on that little bee and altering it. So I've decided to use some metallic sequin black by Folk Art, and that's how I'm going to paint my bee, or the center of the bee. And I'll speed through that process so you can get to see it, but you don't have to wait for me to paint the whole thing because I'm a little bit detailed when I'm painting. So here we go. I'm just painting all of the center of the bee, and I am sorry that I am off camera. I keep forgetting. But my area in my desk is really small, so it's kind of awkward to put the camera on the tripod and work and share everything while I'm creating. So I'm sorry, I apologize for that. But you get to see most of it. So I'm painting all of the sides and the interior and all of it. I'm done with it, and I'm gonna let it dry there for a while. And now we're going to go on to the background. Now for the background, I've decided to use a stencil. And I'll share the information now. It's a crafter's workshop and a 12 by 12 template, which I don't tend to use too often. I tend to use the smaller ones more. But this is the name of it, in case you're interested. And now I'm going to play around with it and see what comes up. I'm just going to build some layers in that background. And I'm using a makeup sponge, and I've actually decided to use the colors that I have on my desk already. So I'm using the Inchworm and the Avocado. And I'll be playing with those two and creating my stencil. Well, my stencil background. So I've also sped through this process because by now you probably all know how that works. I'm just pouncing on that paper with the paint, and then I twisted it a little bit to create another angle on top of the one that I already had created. And I just created some texture for that background. So it looks kind of funky right now, but you'll see as I build up the layers of what I have envisioned, and we'll see how that works out. So I'm cleaning it up, putting it away, and we'll go on to the next stage for that second layer. So that's how it looks. And I let it dry a little bit, and then I'm going to use some stamps. So I'm picking these leaves from, I'll share the information here. That's the name of it, and that is the brand. So I'll just pick two of them to play around with, and these are the two that I selected. And I'm gonna do it with my hand, and I've decided to add some color to the top of that, so it's kind of like a fall color background. So I'm starting with the red, and I'm just gonna pour it on my mat and spread it with my finger just to get enough area to cover the stamp, and I'll stamp all the way around my tag with that first color. Then I choose the amethyst as a second color, and these are all metallics. I love my metallics. So again, same leaf, and I'm just stamping my way around the tag using that second color. And then for the third color, which is a copper, and I love using copper. You probably can tell by all the videos that I've shared using my metallic copper, but I'm stamping around the rest of the tag with that smaller leaf and the copper color, and then I'll let it dry for a little bit. But this is how it looks with the stenciling and then the stamping on top. So that is my background. And now I will move on to creating my layers on top of that. So this is the flower that I chose, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do with it. So I'm playing around with the placement of it, and I look at the texture of it, and I think, maybe I can use some cheesecloth that I've had in my stash for a while. It was sent by a friend a long time ago, and this is it. So those are the pieces that she sent a while back, and I'm just gonna cut a little bit of it, and I'm gonna create the flower stem with it. So I twist it, cut the excess, and I'm gonna use my sprays. I haven't used sprays in a while, so those are some Limdi Stangang, and they're quite old, so I hope they'll work, but you'll see what happens. So I'm using that dark chocolate truffle, and the other color, let me see if I can see it here. It's called Ponderosa Pine Olive is the green. So those are the colors that I decided to apply to that cheesecloth, and I'm just spraying it with that color. And then the second one did not come out, so I just used the nozzle to put it on my mat and just spread it around. And now I'm drying it a little bit, well, a lot of it. And once it is dry, it's ready to be placed on the tag. So I have my little bee, I have my flower, and I have my stem. And now for the bee, if you saw, I had openings on the wood veneer, so I wanted to get some yellow in it. So I've decided to use a little scrap of yellow scrapbook paper and glue it to the bag. So that's how it looks now. You see that yellow at the bottom. And I'm just gonna glue down my pieces now. So flower, stem, and I'm off camera again, I'm sorry. And then my little bee. And now I'm going to use that archival ink to go over my edges on the tag. And I've selected that little wood veneer sentiment there to add to my tag. So I'll be gluing that on the tag a little bit later on, but first I think I need something at the bottom, and I was gonna do seed beads, but I decided to use the raffia instead. So I have that roll that I've had for a while now, and I just decided to cut little pieces of it and glued it to the bottom of my tag, creating a little bit of grass and some extra dimension. So yeah, I go about putting all of those little pieces at the bottom until I fill my whole bottom part with the little raffia pieces, creating my grass texture. And once I am done with that, I cut my excess off and trim the little pieces until I like how they're looking. And that's why I'm off camera. So that's what the bee looks like now. And now that I'm looking at it, as I'm showing it to you, I remember that I forgot to color the wings, but I'll do that later on. Let's finish the rest of the tag for now. So I'm gluing my little sentiment with pop dots, putting some raffia at the top, and just arranging it a little bit until I kind of like what it looks like. And there you go. That's what the tag looks like now with my sentiment on, and it says, "Thank you for being my sunshine every day." And I really like the layers on it. It's interesting and different, and I found a way to use that flower that I've had in my stash for a while, combine it with a bee that I don't use too often, and now I'm going to go in and color my wings that I forgot to color before. So I'll use that little champagne metallic paint for my wings, and then I'll let it dry for a little bit. And on top of that, I will be adding some glossy accents, so I'll show you that in a little bit. But that's how they look now that I've painted them with the champagne color, and this is how it looks with the glossy accents on. So there you go. That's my tag, using that bee and that flower as inspiration, and playing around with some stencils and some stamping and layers of metallics and acrylic paints, plus all of those fun textures as the stem and the grass. I just thought it turned out to be a fun tag. So thanks so much for your visits. Hope you liked what I shared today. Hope to see you all soon, and take care, everyone. Besitos. See you in the next video. I'm off to creating more tags. Bye.